going to prepare a place for us. And this is where the laws of physics change. Now, if you want a theological explicit statement on that, Jeremiah 33:25. The laws that govern the heavens and the earth are fixed. They're fixed from the point of the creation of the universe until the end of this universe. So the end of the universe is where we have the great changes in the laws of physics. And of course, all you got to do is look at the book of Acts and the Gospels, and you can discern from those texts there was no systemic change in the laws of physics. The physics before the resurrection is the same as the physics after the resurrection.
Not in the resurrection body of Christ.
No, not at all. So yeah, there will be a huge discontinuity when we die.
Yeah.
Every Christian that faces physical death will experience a dramatic discontinuity. Yeah. On the other hand, that discontinuity is not brought to its fullness until the end of the age. So for example, when you and I die, and that'll be coming soon enough, we will go to be with the Lord in the kingdom of heaven, but we will go in a state of sleep. Revelation 6:9 speaks about the martyrs asleep under the altar before God. Now, they're aware of what's going on, but they're not allowed to interfere. As we're told in Hebrews, we're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Those witnesses are not only the angels, they are those that have died in Christ before us. They're watching us. They have a TV set where they can watch what we're doing, but they can't interfere. But there will come a time in the future when their resurrected body will be brought to them in its fullness, and at that point they'll no longer be asleep. And that to me is the great discontinuity, when we're finally brought into the fullness of the resurrection that we share with Christ, whereas all those that have died in Christ are simply in a state of sleep. So I guess those of us that are towards the end, we don't get to rest as long as those that have died before us. We get a short nap before we come into the final fullness. Yes?
Earlier you talked about the theater for the efficient and rapid conquest of evil.
Right.
Which evil is that? Is that the satanic forces? Is that already the fallen universe?
Okay, when I talked earlier about how this universe is the theater for the conquest, the rapid, efficient conquest of evil, what do I exactly mean by that evil? You know, were we talking satanic evil? Were we talking human evil? I'm saying it's all that. It's all the evil that has ever existed. I would argue that Adam is not the first sinner. The first sinner was Satan. And so in terms of when did evil enter the universe, it did not happen when Adam sinned. It happened when Satan sinned. Now, it doesn't tell us in the Bible exactly when he sinned, but he certainly sinned before Adam did. And, what Christ is doing is not only conquering human evil, it's conquering all evil. And as we see that in Revelation 20, it's not just the evil humans that are disposed of in the lake of fire, it's also all the evil angels. So from that point forward, evil will no longer exist. You say, well, why does God put us all through this evil for now? Well, we have to be tested. The analogy I use in Beyond the Cosmos is students going to a university class. And the thing that's always amazed me about my students is they pay my sponsoring institutions a huge sum of money to suffer at my hand. You say, rationally, what makes students do that? Number one, they know the suffering is brief, and they know the suffering will bring about a great reward, hopefully. Well, likewise, that's what this life is all about. God is exposing us to a short season of evil and suffering, and that exposure prepares us for something we otherwise could not receive. And, graciously, it's very brief.
Right. The Muslims say test. Better preparation, which is a word we use later.
Well, I use the word preparation rather than test, in that I think that's consistent with Hebrews 12, where it uses the word discipline. That God now has us alive to discipline us, which to me connotes training rather than this angry God that's, you know, the thing that bothers me about Islam is God is so distant, God is so uncaring, and it's all fatalistic. There's no human responsibility. If what Allah wills will happen. Therefore, if I kill people, it's His fault. It's not my fault.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, although they deny that, but I do agree with your God.
Well, it's consistent with their holy book.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, okay, one more question, then we all go to dinner.
In your model, you have, as any model in science, you have quite a large error bar. Do you expect that some future data will help you to decrease those error bars?
Yes, the question had to do about error bars, that with respect to human origins, the error bars are still quite large. And we're on record as predicting that future scientific discoveries will lower those error bars. And as those error bars are lowered, the data will become more consistent with the biblical model rather than less consistent. So this is a wonderful way to put our model to the test. Let's wait another 12 months. We'll have more data, and we would predict that that data will be more consistent with the biblical human origins model than it is today. So, and we are sticking our neck out by making explicit predictions in this book. Okay, dinner time. Thank you.